Hello, welcome to the live stream. Today we're going to be going over stretching for the legs. So we're going to be covering muscles in your thighs all the way down to your calves and ankles. So on all these stretches, we are going to do it held stretch. We're doing static stretching, and none of them should be painful. So if anything hurts you at all, either back off from the stretch, or if it still hurts, skip that stretch entirely. But we're going to go ahead and get started by warming up the muscles. We want to have a little bit of a warm up so that we're not stretching cold. So if you guys have any questions as we go, I'd love to hear your questions. The only dumb question is the question you don't ask. So let me know in the comments or the chat if you want to know, if you have any uncertainty about anything, feel free to let me know. So we're going to start with a pendulum stretch. So this is going to be a warm-up stretch. So what you're going to do is swing your leg forward and back. This is called a pendulum stretch. We are actually not holding the stretch. We're just swinging back and forth through your range of motion. That means swinging back and forth through the as far as the joint can go. So as you feel more warmed up, you can try and bring your leg a little bit higher in both directions. We're stretching out the muscles in the front of the hip and the back of the thigh and hip as we swing back and forth. This is also getting blood flow into the joint and lubrication into the joint. As your body moves, it actually lubricates and releases that to have everything moving smoothly. So as you get more warmed up, you might be able to lift a little bit higher with your leg. You should feel this in the front as you go backwards, you're stretching the front, and forwards, you're stretching the back. So we're stretching the opposite direction we're going. And switch to the other leg. This is a great warm-up stretch. This is called a dynamic stretch because we're not holding the stretch. We're moving through the range of motion of the joint. So this is going to be our only dynamic stretch today because we're using it as a warm-up for the other muscles. Don't feel like you have to really swing your leg hard. It's just a gentle swing back and forth, getting some motion in the joint. Usually about 10 to 15 is a good number. You should feel warmed up in your leg though. It should feel like there's, it's not stiff anymore. It should feel mobile and fluid as you're doing this. So if you need to, take a couple extra, and that's fine. So now now that we're warmed up, we're going to move into the hamstrings, which we're going to stretch from the back of your hip all the way down to the back of your knee. So for this, we're going to do a laying down stretch. So what you're going to want to do is lay down in a doorway or someplace where you have a post like this. I'd recommend a door frame because what you can do is you're gonna lay down right in the door and then put your foot up onto the door frame and then push your knee down straight, okay? If you need to increase the stretch, you can shift your hips closer to the door to make it more intense, or away from the door will make it less intense, okay? So you can adjust based on your needs. So if it's really hard to straighten your knee, move a little bit away from the door, and that's okay. Just go to where you feel a gentle stretch in the back of your thigh, all the way from your hip up to the back of your knee. So we're gonna hold this position, pushing down on the knee, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now your other leg is actually going to be straight on this one for increasing that stretch. If you bend it up, it will make it a little bit lighter as well if you want to play around with it. I'd recommend though straightening that leg because that actually shifts your hips to increase the stretch on the back of your leg, on that back of that straight leg. So I'd love to hear where you guys are from, where you're here in the chat. So if you can post or type in where you guys are from. Just general area, don't have to be specific, just curious who all is watching. And go ahead and bend your knee, bring your leg out down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, getting as close as is comfortable to that door frame. And bringing your other leg straight. Might be different on this side. This side, depending on your legs, sometimes one side is tighter than the other, where it's harder to straighten out your knee. You need to get a little further away from the door. That's okay. It's totally normal. We're not quite symmetric. And then hold this stretch, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Try and hold about 30 seconds. Like the hamstring stretch, I feel like I hold a lot of stress in my hamstrings, so it always feels much more relaxing after I do this one. Is there any muscle in particular you guys feel like you have stress in? Like maybe it's your shoulders or your chest or anything like that? For me, it's definitely the hamstrings, definitely these muscles back here. And relax. Go ahead and bend your knee and bring your leg down. All right. So we just stretched the back of the thigh. Now we're going to stretch the front of the thigh. These muscles are called the quads. There's 4 of them. That's why they're called quad. I believe that's related to the why they're called the quads. And then, so what we're going to do, you're going to lay down on your side. You can grab a pillow if you want for your head, or just use your arm for support, whatever feels comfortable. From here, you're going to reach around and grab your ankle and then pull up to the back. Now, if you can't reach your ankle, you can always grab a towel or some sort of, this is called a stretch strap, but a towel works just as well. And you can use it to help reach your ankle. But if you can, you don't need that if you can reach all the way down. Pulling up to the back till you feel a stretch in the top of your thigh, right up here. And then hold that position for 30 seconds. Again, none of these stretches should feel painful. Just go to where you feel a light tension and then hold that position. Muscles go from the front of your hip all the way down to your kneecap and down to your shin. Just they attach right at the top of your shin. And switch to the other side. So reaching to the back, grabbing your ankle, and then pulling your heel up to your back. Feeling the stretch in the front of your leg. You might even feel it down to your knee. So in this one, the further back you pull your knee, the more intense the stretch will be. Further forward, the less intense. and holding for 30 seconds. This one I find is good, especially if I've done a lot of squats or deep knee bends. So, it's also good for something like Romanian deadlift, anything that's going to use that knee joint heavily. And relax. All right. For this next exercise, you're gonna need a chair. So go ahead and grab one if you don't have one nearby. I'm just gonna roll this out. This will be my chair for today. Let's see. Can't quite see me here, huh? I'm gonna move this back. So go ahead and grab that chair. There we go. All right. So for this next stretch, we're gonna stretch the muscles on the outside of the calf, or out here. They go down your leg and attach down into your ankle. So you're gonna put your feet together with the bottoms of your feet touching each other, okay? So your knees are gonna be pretty wide for that usually. So trying to put the soles of your feet together. Then from here, you're gonna take your hands and push your knees gently together, keeping your feet together though, until you feel that stretch on the outside of your ankles. Might feel all the way up to the top of your calf in your knee. That is okay. Trying to push those knees together, keeping your feet on the ground. And then hold that stretch. If you want to, you can even hug your knees together. That's fine too. You have to be pretty flexible to get to that though. So holding that position, feeling a stretch in the outside of your ankle. This is a great stretch for helping prevent twisting your ankle. As this muscle can get short and then it can't actually support your body weight in that position. If you think about it, this is how people usually roll their ankles. We're bulletproofing those ankles from that, making them pliable, flexible, so it's not going to tear and rip. And just a couple more seconds. Now, if you have a sprained ankle, you probably don't want to do this stretch. You want to let it actually heal first, then do this as part of your rehab, or go through rehabbing it, getting that flexibility back. All right, so we stretched some of the major muscle groups of your thigh into your ankle, and we're gonna go ahead and get rid of the chair for now. I'm gonna move this out of the way. We've got one more stretch to do. If you have anything that you want stretched, or like, oh, I really feel tight in a particular area, let me know. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. If it's not still live, then I will we'll get back to you as soon as I can in other videos. But let me know in the comments or chat. So now we're gonna stretch the muscles on the inner part of your thigh. These are called the adductors. So what you're gonna do is start in a kneeling position and then put one foot out to the side with your toe and your heel on the ground. Okay, you might actually feel a stretch already in this position. If you do, just hold that position. If you don't feel a stretch yet, you can sit back towards your heel, bringing your body down towards the ground till you feel a stretch on the inner part of your thigh, and then hold that position. This is great for if you're trying to do the splits or trying to work on your splits. You can do one leg at a time, which actually makes it easier to control gaining that flexibility. If you ever tried to do the splits with both legs at once, it's a lot harder. This way you can build up that flexibility and then eventually get it to where you can hold it with both feet. And there was a time I used to be able to do splits. I lost that ability because I stopped working on it. Still have okay flexibility, but not nearly as much as I had before. And same thing on the other side. So stepping out to the side, toe and heel on the ground, and then sitting back towards your heel. Then the stretch all along that inner thigh. So these muscles run from the bottom of the hip bone all the way into the inside of your knee. Several muscles actually attached there. You've got the adductor brevis, longus, and magnus. If you feel it more up in here, it's probably the brevis. If you feel it more down by your knee, that's where the adductor magnus attaches. You don't need to know those names, but if you're interested, that's what it's called. And go ahead and relax, bring both knees back together and stand up. All right, so what I lost my train of thought for a moment. So that's covering a lot of the stretching for the legs and lower body. If you're interested in that, I have a video on stretching actually the hips and low back, which actually connect into a lot of what happens at the leg. So go ahead and click that video if you're interested. I'll show you some stretches you can do for that. But hope to see you guys next time, and I hope you